Hello again to all subscribers and listeners of this channel. This will be a review of Attack on Titan Season 2, Episode 7, Close Combat. At least that's what I thought the title was. And damn, this was a good episode. Another one that was just excellent in the series, and I loved it. It had a few misses here and there, but just like before, the few bad things in this episode were severely overshadowed by the awesome things that were in this episode. So let's get to it. My first thoughts were, I cannot wait to see how the fight between Eren and Reiner is going to go, and also the fight between Bertolt and the Scouts. And no, I was not disappointed at all. Nobody should be disappointed with this episode at all. So here's the basic plot. So in this episode, we continue on from Eren punching Reiner in the face. Eren punches Reiner so hard that his hand literally explodes off and they both fall to the ground. It's right after this that the big fight begins. Eren and Reiner in their Titan forms are going at it, whereas Bertolt in his Colossal Titan form. Interesting thing here that you gotta notice is his Titan form is only half formed. So it's basically a torso, his arms, his shoulders, and his head attached to the top of Wall Rose. He's getting attacked from Hanji's team of scouts. They charge him aggressively, and because his Titan form is so big and slow, Hanji's team of scouts is easily able to evade all his counterattacks. They circle around, they go for the nape, only to get blasted by the super hot jets of steam. Steam that pushes them back, temporarily blinds them, restricts their ODM gear, and burns them slightly. They retreat and decide to stay on the Wall Rose and wait for Bertolt to do whatever. They just wait him out, see what happens. He continues to emit steam while he's just sitting on there. Meanwhile, Eren tries desperately to outpunch Reiner. But there's two things wrong here. Reiner is way too strong. He's strong as fuck. And his armor is basically making him nearly invincible. So you can't really do anything to him at this point. The only thing that's off about him is that he's also moving a bit slow, but other than that, he's got all the advantages in this fight. He's strong as hell, and he's got the armor. So Eren can't do anything. Every punch that Eren throws ends up being useless. Also, Mikasa, she was trying to slice the nape or slice the heel, slice something on Reiner's Titan form. Couldn't do it. Her blade shattered every time. So not one of her attacks is able to penetrate the armor either. So, during the multiple times that Eren is knocked out, he has the memory about Annie and how she trained him how to fight, how she defeated him in the sparring matches that they had earlier on when they were training. And he also had another flashback, an interesting flashback that they cut too short. But the flashback of Annie and Mikasa getting ready to spar with each other. Now, we don't know exactly what happened, but there's a lot of implications as to what may have happened if we had seen that fight. But after he has these flashbacks, Eren gets back up. He launches at Reiner. Everyone is screaming for Eren to stop because they know he stands no chance against Reiner's physical strength and his armor. But just when Reiner sets up a counterpunch, Eren ducks under it and performs a beautiful execution of Annie's takedown maneuver, and he pins Reiner to the ground. From here on, Eren keeps using takedowns and limb locks to rip Reiner's arm off and shatter some of Reiner's armor on his Titan body. Later on, Eren runs to the wall to give himself some distance. Then suddenly, Reiner is able to sprint into Eren, and because Reiner purposefully removed some of the armor on the back of his knees, he's now got more agility. So now he's a little bit more dangerous. This allows Reiner more speed and allows him to do way more to Eren with his speed than he would have done with his strength and power. So he tries to pin Eren only to have Eren put him in a guillotine choke. And from this position, Reiner's pretty much stuck. Reiner then tries to drive with his legs, but remember, he purposefully removed some of the armor from the back of his legs, from the back of his knees specifically. And because of this, Mikasa in beautiful fashion is able to epically and just completely awesomely slice the tendons in the back of his knees. So now Reiner can't really push with his legs anymore. So now Reiner is really screwed. So what does he do when his arm is ripped off? Mikasa sliced the tendons of his legs. His arm is getting increasingly cracked, all while he's inside Aaron's guillotine choke. Well, here's the thing that he does. He, with one arm, is able to pull him and Aaron directly under Bertolt. He makes a scream, call, or whatever alert to Bertolt. Unbeknownst to the scouts, Bertolt is disconnecting his body from the top of wall rows, tips himself over, and plunges directly face first into Aaron and Raynor. And right there, the episode ends. Animation. So far, there's absolutely no complaints. Every episode up until now has been a completely beautiful animation. Nothing else to say there. A few things that I noticed. One, the way the flashback scenes were used and how they were connected with the current fight between Aaron and Raynor was perfect in terms of displaying the pain, anguish, betrayal, and rage that Aaron was feeling. And I would say that the way it went back and forth between those, the flashback and the current situation, was well written and well done. Second thing I noticed. In season 1, I thought this was kind of odd, but I guess I got used to it. But the voice actor for Aaron, when Aaron is speaking to himself, the voice sounds funny and kind of raspy. But it sounds kind of awesome in that it's really trying to, convey that Aaron is really enraged and he's really speaking through his Titan form, I guess. And that his voice really shouldn't sound normal at that point. So I guess that's interesting. And I'm guessing growing to like it to a degree. So yeah. Number 3. Interesting thing I noticed. I love the fact that Asayama Hajime has consistently, ever since the first couple episodes, he's done a good job of incorporating more realistic martial arts fighting styles and very diverse fighting styles into his storyline with his characters. And it's very refreshing to see a fight like that taken from reality. The fights are relatively short, well choreographed, but they don't always have a clear winner. And that is so atypical to what you see in anime. So much of anime is just hundreds of punches, explosions, ki blasts, all that, or one-shot finishes, or one character completely dominating the other. That's so normal. But the type of fights you see in Attack on Titan, they're way different and way better, in my opinion. They're not as predictable. They're not as cliched. They're way more varied. And I just really like the way Hajime did that. The way he wrote his fights in the storyline is just really nicely done. And he puts a lot of MMA stuff in there. I love that. The best thing about the episode is pretty much the fight between Aaron and Raynor. From beginning to end, the whole choreography, the whole setup of the fight was just really nicely done. Yet, certain aspects of the fight really do look exactly like what you would expect from an MMA match. Apart from the arm ripping and the fact that they're Titans, but just the moves that they use are very much like an actual fight, so I like that. Worst about the episode. Some things about the episode I didn't like. One, and I mentioned this before and I stand by what I say. Other people have commented about how they don't like the CGI of Bertolt's Titan form. And I get where they're coming from, but at the same time, I'm really not complaining that much for a couple reasons. It didn't have that much screen time. If you really look at the episode, Bertolt's form was only there for maybe a massive 2-3 minutes, so that's not that big of a deal. And the animators are most likely overworked and underpaid. So anything they had to do to cut down on production time and production costs, they did, and I don't blame them. And I still think I should make a video about this in the near future, but animation looks like it's very hard and very time consuming. And as far as I'm concerned, animators don't seem to get anywhere near enough credit for what they do. So as far as people complaining, I don't think people should complain that much about the CGI. Attack on Titan has been too good for you to complain that much about one little aspect. But that's just my opinion. 2. Raynor's Titan voice seemed way too high pitched and also a little bit too low in volume. It should have been lower and should have been way louder when he did that scream. The way it sounded in this episode didn't sound quite right to me. But again, these are kind of minor. They're not that big of a deal. There's too much awesomeness. There's too much awesomeness in the episode for me to make a big deal about these two things. So, favorite scene? I can't pick one favorite scene, so I picked about 4. So here we go. An awesome scene is when Eren is getting super emotional, goes in for the mega punch against Reiner, only to have Reiner counterpunch him and basically send Eren flying through the air, where it looks like he's actually spiraling through the air. And I actually have a shot of that scene right here in the video, so you'll see it. It's a screenshot. Another good scene is when Eren ducks under Reiner's punch and performs the double leg takedown. He completely sweeps Reiner exactly the way Annie did him when they were sparring. Very clean, very smooth movement, very smooth animation right there. Love that. Another cute and awesome scene is when Hanji is on Eren's shoulder and she's actually speaking to him about how to defeat Reiner. He responds by nodding his head, and this causes Hanji to blush for some reason. Now, most likely she was just shocked that he can understand what she was saying, but the way she blushed still looked really awesome the way they animated that. That was funny and weird and awkward, but adorable. And then the last scene, which was really epic, even though they cut it short, was the scene where Bertolt is disconnecting himself and he's falling face first into Reiner and Eren when Eren's having him in the guillotine choke. Ending the episode that way, I think, was perfectly awesome. Very nice scene. So out of a 1 to 10 score, I give this one another 9.5, like the last episode. Almost perfect. About 2 things were a little bit off, so that gave it a little half point down. But other than that, the episode was really, really nice. So a 9.5 out of 10. That's what I give it. 9.5 out of 10. So overall, it was action-packed. It was an awesome episode. Really good storytelling. Really good fight. Really good use of flashbacks. The fight sequence was just awesome from beginning to end. And it was distinctly different from normal or more average fight scenes you see in most anime. So, again, Asayama Hajime, one thing I'm liking about how he wrote Attack on Titan is he seems to be branching out and doing his own thing instead of doing some of the same things that have been repeated in other animes. And I probably should make a video on that too. I might make that a video to end this series. We should make it 13 videos in all. But I do want to talk about that later. That I really like how Hajime Asayama is so branching away from the normal generic anime storyline, normal generic characterization, etc. He's really doing his own thing with this whole entire series, and I like it. And it's awesome. And that's about it for now. I'm going to continue on with this series until the season 2 ends. I'm going to make that one extra review about the whole entire season, the whole entire series, and what I think about Asayama Hajime as an author in general. So stay tuned for that. I'm out. Peace.